What makes Darth Vader terrifying? The answer can surely be found in no better way than by experiencing the duel between the Dark Lord of the Sith and the son of Anakin Skywalker. Through tension and terror, through characterization and conflict, the ultimate horror of Darth Vader is illuminated in what may very well be the most iconic moment in Star Wars history. The entire movie is perfectly structured in service of this climactic duel. We see for the first time the mighty Vader bow before a master.
The son of Skywalker must not become a Jedi.
He will join us or die.
We know that Luke Skywalker would never join them. So maybe he can defeat Vader?
If you end your training now, if you choose the quick and easy path, as Vader did, you will become an agent of evil.
Yoda and Obi-Wan Kenobi see Luke's destruction at the hands of Vader as an inevitability. But Luke's vision of the future, a future that would see his friends perish, compels him to go no matter the cost.
And sacrifice Han and Leia.
If you honor what they fight for, yes.
Yoda's advice echoes the similarly cold, perhaps even ignorant advice he once gave to a young Anakin Skywalker.
Rejoice for those around you who transform into the Force. Mourn them do not. Miss them do not.
Luke reacts much like the legendary Jedi, proving Anakin wasn't wrong to want to save those close to him. What separates Luke and Anakin is the lengths they would be willing to go, the lines they would be willing to cross, just to keep their loved ones safe.
The cave. Remember your failure at the cave.
Everything is against Luke. His masters, the people whom he trusts completely, beg him not to go. His friends will be vanquished if he does not.
I can't keep the vision out of my head. They're my friends. I gotta help them.
You must not go.
But Han and Leia will die if I don't.
There's not a better reason for Luke to dive into the belly of the beast. Just like his father, if the Jedi Code stops him doing what he believes is right, he will ignore it. Anakin Skywalker's heart lives on. Enter Cloud City. There is a satisfying contrast in watching Luke venture into a city amongst the clouds, its hallways bathed in heavenly white and blue tones, only to watch him ascend into a den of darkness and evil. He walks through heaven to enter hell, and the devil is waiting patiently.
The Force is with you, young Skywalker. But you are not a Jedi yet.
We're reminded that Luke has barely begun his training. Obi-Wan, a veteran of the Clone Wars, fell at Vader's hand. The orange aesthetic bleeding into the deep blues makes it feel like Vader has brought a little piece of Mustafar with him. The choices of colour hint at the inner conflict that will tear Vader apart from here until his death. It allows for both combatants, these vestiges of good and evil, to cut such clearly defined silhouettes as they draw their signature weapons, leaving no doubt that this is the single greatest set in all of Star Wars history. Luke barely says a word to Vader. There is no ambiguity as to his evils. Luke sees him as a dragon he must slay and nothing more. Apt that their rematch will see Luke using words over his weapons. Vader moves with uncanny precision, focus, and surprising agility. The way Vader moves, every swing is measured and calculated. It is a far cry from the emotional young Jedi he once was. Now that passion is replaced with choreography that highlights the machine over the man. The parallels to the duel of Mustafar are clear. Much in the same way Obi-Wan was forced into a defensive style for the entirety of his battle against Vader, so too must Luke attempt to keep the Sith Lord at bay. You don't beat Vader, you can only try to stay alive. It becomes readily apparent that what makes this duel so unique is that it isn't much of a duel at all. This is pure survival. It's also an audition.
Impressive. Most impressive.
What's more terrifying than seeing Darth Vader before you? Knowing he is before you, but being unable to see him. The duel pivots from the clash of sabers to something more intense. Vader's breathing makes you shudder before you even see him emerge. The use of this over-the-shoulder angle gives us a window into Vader's perspective, making Luke seem nothing more than helpless prey. He doesn't even need to touch Luke to destroy him. The focus on Vader's mask yet again reminds us of the machine. If he takes pleasure in this, or hates himself for hurting Luke, we have no idea. The breaks in battle only make it worse for Luke and the viewer. The movie isn't afraid to build the tension slowly as our Jedi-to-be explores Cloud City's eerily empty facilities. He's a rat stuck in a maze. Vader is inevitable. Just like the legendary tales of the Jedi of old, Luke battles the Sith Lord over a seemingly infinite drop.
You are beaten. It is useless to resist. Don't let yourself be destroyed as Obi-Wan did.
Luke throws everything he has into the fight and manages to wound Vader. The inhuman guttural sound that Vader makes after being hit has always stayed with me. As soon as Luke gets a hit in, a single hint towards his true potential, as soon as he defines himself as a threat to the seemingly all-powerful might of Vader, the Dark Lord decides to stop playing with his food. Of course, then comes the awe-inspiring crescendo we all know, beat for beat.
I am your father.
This monster, painted that way by Obi-Wan, by Yoda, the Dark Lord that tortured Luke's friends, the face of the ultimate fascist empire in the galaxy, is just a man. More than that, he shares Luke's blood. Everything he is comes from him. It reconfigures this line,
He's just a boy,
to sound like a plea, a grovel. Please don't take my son like you took me. Throughout this duel, Vader was depicted as the monster, the machine, a clear-cut agent of evil. To discover the humanity tucked away inside that hulking, black-clad body is truly the most horrifying thing of all. This is Luke's first true test. It's not about lightsabers, or power levels, or destroying your opponent. It's about the lure of power, the lure of having the one thing he's never gotten to experience, a relationship with his father. But of course, Luke is no Anakin Skywalker. He's stronger. He would rather risk death than submit to the darkness. Vader's hand falling back down. Was he disappointed Luke didn't come with him? Or perhaps disappointed in himself, watching his son do what he could not? Luke lives to fight another day. Vader makes one more effort to reach out.
Luke,
Father.
son.
We see how easily they slip into calling each other father and son, and it feels strangely natural.
Luke, it is your destiny.
Destiny, fate, these notions have pulled Luke Skywalker left and right in the build-up to this duel for the entire movie. But it's clear now, more than it ever was before, that little things like fate are nothing compared to the heart of a true Jedi.
You did it!
There's no dialogue here. The shot holds for just a few seconds. But there's something so magical in watching Vader's head turn back to the stars one more time. As if he felt vulnerable, his heart laid bare for the first time in decades. The story is told in the cut. We see this, and then we see an Imperial officer who has feared Vader for the entire movie, and for the first time, it looks as if he's almost sorry for Darth Vader. Anakin Skywalker's heart lives on.
Thank you for watching another full fat video. Don't forget to click that subscribe button if you'd like to see more of our deep dives into reality TV. Also, huge thanks to all of our patrons, especially Dr. Chike, Jax Merrick and Mike Nandu. You're all amazing. Until next time,